Into our discussions this afternoon. Welcome again, everybody, to the show.
Thank you.
Now, we're starting with hashtag Xenophobia matters arising in that particular issue. In the last week, diplomatic tensions between Africa's biggest economies, which is Nigeria and South Africa, has taken a number of actions and reaction due to the xenophobic attacks currently ongoing in South Africa. Many Nigerians, according to reports in South Africa, have suffered from the latest xenophobic attacks, with many businesses destroyed and looted. And according to the South African police, looting of shops owned by foreigners seem not to be coming to an end anytime soon, because the looting is still going on. Even as on Saturday, police were still arresting people, about 74 persons in Katlehong, and of course bringing the total number of arrests to about 497. That's like a little less than 500, in what we're talking about. But anyways, the Nigerian government has said Nigerians who are in South Africa who want to leave, will be evacuated, free of charge. And of course, we all know that Air Peace volunteered to be the carrier of these people. But Air Peace has had to postpone the free airlifting of Nigerians in South Africa due to expired travel documents of most citizens in that country. Right. Many Nigerians who have been scheduled for evacuation back home were said to be unable to tender valid travel documents when they were asked to do so. As a result of this situation, the planned airlift, originally scheduled for Friday last week, has been moved to today, Monday, or tomorrow, Tuesday. And of course we know
they started lifting them yesterday.
Yes, okay, but we hear that Air Peace of course gave their aircraft Boeing 777 for the evacuation. Okay, gentlemen, well, let's start with the looting that is still going on, in South Africa, despite all of the talks. So that is one of the ministers in South Africa, putting everything back on Nigerians, to help in all of this by ensuring, or is the word ensuring, by helping to filter, the sort of Nigerians that come into their country. Akogun, what do you have to say about this?
Well, actually, the entire interview, the questionnaire was very clear. The Nigerian government said, can they send soldiers and people to come and help them? So it was answering to that question. So that answer was not in isolation. Having said that, I think we need to realize the fact that xenophobia, no matter in whatever coloration, is bad. But they do have their own issues that they have to deal with. We are currently, African immigrants to South Africa, are currently the boogeymen of their frustration with their own system. That is obviously not working. 20 years after the end of apartheid, the black people are still as poor can be. Things are not, so they need somebody to latch on to. It's not peculiar to them. Like I said, even within the context of our own country, things like that happen. When opportunities are not spread equally, people tend to become more bister in their. And I think that's why what the governor or the government of South Africa is saying. It's obvious that they have the sympathy of the political class. Okay. And that's why the thing will not
go away so quickly. Okay, I hear you. All right, Satana.
Well, to buttress my brother's point, the apartheid people, the South Africans, if you go back to the genesis, I think in 1984 or so, Nigeria spent over $64 billion during the apartheid regime. That one aside, I just see the interview as a decoy to call a dog.
Can I ask you a question? The money Nigeria spent to fight apartheid in South Africa years ago, how relevant is that to what is on ground right now?
That is
I want to know. How relevant?
It's a waste. We just wasted the money instead of plowing back the money to our economy to help the poor man.
So you are regretting that we helped to fight apartheid?
Okay. We should have left them the way they are. Now it's like as if we've sharpened their teeth. They are now using the teeth to bite us. Look at the way one of the I think the assistants of police was even saying Why must you allow Nigerians to come and take over your land? It's not good, because we have the South Africans in Nigeria, eh? We have all other nations in Nigeria. Why must you focus only on Nigerian people? It's bad. They are trying to, I don't know. Although Ghana is doing the same thing now. Most of our people have been sent back home now, over 800 of them. So I see it as a sort of gang up, a sort of envy. And everything boils down to the leadership, the problem of leadership we have. I think Nigeria is jinxed because we've not had the real leaders we're supposed to have.
Okay, I'm a Nigerian, a thoroughbred Nigerian, so of course my sympathies and everything is with Nigeria in this matter. But I'm also a journalist, so I have to look at the issues, without any sentiment, as it were. Now we have over 800,000 Nigerians residing in South Africa. That is a huge number of Nigerians, and a bigger, or the majority of that number, are involved in crime, illegality, and all of that. Shouldn't that give a country concern, really?
Well, it's unfortunate, really, that our young people have to go to all these places because of the situation that we have on hand. But then, don't they have immigration officials and all that who can really prevent it from coming to their country? So, then they have law enforcement agents too. So all this issue about them being involved in drugs and stuff, it's just excuses.
Really?
Because, look, yes, these chaps are involved, but then they have law enforcement agents who can always crack down on this instead of now killing people. That's taking the laws into their hands.
Okay. All right, Mr. Fosse, let me come to you. Now,
I can't come.
Now, the issue of this evacuation, has actually brought a lot of things to the fore. The fact that a lot of Nigerians are residing in South Africa illegally. They don't have papers and all of that, which is...
Anymore. They don't have papers anymore.
Okay. Which is one of the things South Africans are actually talking about. You have a lot of illegal people in their country, and crime is the order of the day. How do you react?
Well, like the gentleman have reacted, I think South African government have immigration laws. They have police, and they also have set out rules that tell you how you can enter into their countries. And if some of these people are entering their countries illegally, and I think there is the conventional rules for that. What you need to do, apprehend them and deport them, and send them back to their countries. And I think South Africans will take a cue from the U.S. What the U.S. did in recent times, currently doing, by trying to pick the bad eggs out of the good ones, and let the world know these are the bad eggs by the law enforcement agencies, and instead of the citizens taking laws into their hand. I think the government of South Africa could have played a very heroic role by engaging the South Africans, the indigenous people of South Africa, to engage in whistleblowing for those who are doing drugs, and point them out, and they will be picked up and deported, perhaps prosecuted by the law of South Africa, because the crime is committed in their land. So instead of the people, the local people, taking law into their hand, destroying lives and properties, it's not something that is good. I never believe someday I will see a black on black crime anymore. I never believe in the Africa that we are trying to build. Also, it's also very pathetic that EU was not taking a very serious action on South Africa. And I think if South Africa want to toe the line of the UK, who are calling for the Brexit, and I think these are the issues that call for that referendum, where the local Britain felt that, look, they don't want to be part of the EU, so that they can protect their border, and they will not leave their border porous for someone to migrate from the other side to this side, and perhaps take their jobs, or way down on their...
So it could have been done in a sit down.
It could have been done in a sit down. That South Africa will say, we want to pull out from EU.
Okay. All right. Now, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, what's wrong with me this afternoon? Anyways, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Oyema, has said Nigeria would not cave in on its two demands, from South Africa, which are compensation for Nigerians whose properties were destroyed and provision of adequate security for Nigerians who are left.
To ask for compensation.
We'll come back and talk about the compensation. We'll come back. But let's quickly go and take a look at the video of still some more lootings, that's still going on of Nigerian-owned businesses in South Africa. We'll be back.
This is real gents, huh?
Welcome back. All right, I think I'll go with you, Mr. Fosse, since you already started talking about the compensation issue.
Yes.
How do you begin to compensate, someone who lost his life in this kind of a killing?
Let us put the horse before the cart, because I think...
so we don't go backwards.
I think the Foreign Affairs Minister is trying to move faster than his shadow. I would appreciate if the government of Nigeria would actually look forward to evacuating Nigerians, getting them safe to Nigeria, or to talking to South Africans to stop attack. Then when you do that, when you successfully do that, when all of these things die down, you can now begin to talk about compensation. Because you can't compensate those who are still on the run. You can't compensate those. Now, we talked about, there are a lot of factors. We talked about some Nigerians who do not have valid traveling documents. That means that some of these things may have been caught in fire. They must have misplaced it. Some of them were attacked in the night. You don't tie your traveling document around your waist.
Well, definitely.
For instance, you keep it somewhere.
So there's an issue of timing.
It's timing and the rest of it. So instead of them to begin to look at traveling document, as long as you can identify yourself as a Nigerian, you should be moved out from South Africa to Nigeria to a safe place first. Then we can now begin to look at, evaluate, and see how the damage that has been done. At this point, you have not done any evaluation, assessment to know what has been damaged.
Okay.
Look, if you say that these are the Nigerians without valid traveling document, they were having very legitimate business in South Africa. They were never arrested. They were never taken to immigration and the rest of it. So what happened? Okay. So instead of Nigerian government to begin to do that, let them move them back first to a safer environment.
All right, you agree?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to remember the proverb, but the important thing is to get this out of that place first. Like he has said, these people, whatever the documentation required, once they can be identified with the Nigerians, bring them back first. Then you can now talk of whatever they lost there or whatever.
Can I play the devil's advocate?
Please.
Evacuating Nigerians from South Africa back to Nigeria. Are we really doing ourselves a lot of good? Do you get what I'm trying to ask?
I know, but look, like I said sometime on this program,
safety first.
There are so many things. I mean, I see unemployment as the greatest problem we have in this country. And I gave three options that we could consider. One is this issue of our refining,
illegal refinery,
here, so that there will be enough jobs all over. There is this innocent person in the east who produces
assembles.
But these are not immediate
they are
solutions. This is a long term.
There has to be, the government has to start from this.
I'm asking an immediate question. People are evacuated back to Nigeria.
This morning,
You are evacuated.
what plans do you have
What
for
do you have for people you are bringing back into the country?
Today,
Just let's put it this way. Just like the people in IDP camps,
Well,
government is catering for them, feeding them, giving them clothing, the three essential main essential things: food, cloth, and housing. Give them that first. Now, let them have the right documentation, the kind of job you are doing when in South Africa, and the kind of thing they are hoping to do now. I read about a guy who came home 25 years ago. He said he didn't bring a penny from South Africa. But today is somebody. You need to start from somewhere. You start from the start. It doesn't mean that how can you evacuate a dead person? You can't. I think understand.
Actually,
you don't allow or you put them in a bag. But what I'm saying is that let's save lives first.
Okay.
precisely.
Let's save lives.
All right.
I don't know the EU chapter concerning travel in Africa. Whether you still need to get a visa.
Yes, you still need in
There's no
South Africa and South Africa.
But in West
Only
Africa,
West Africa that you can travel without.
you know, there are some countries in Eastern Africa where it's a visa entry.
Yes.
That I say Eastern Africa from Nigeria,
Yeah.
Kenya, Tanzania. You need to get visas before you get to.
Okay. All right. Let me ask.
why is it now in African Union?
Hold on, sir. In Kenya is a visa on arrival. Kenya and Tanzania. There are countries like that. Even Ghana. It's visa on arrival. I think it's $50. Equivalent in their whatever cost. But having said that, I think while we are blowing our patriotic trumpet, we also must realize the fact that Nigerians, as a rule, outside this country, are extremely loud. We tend to show off and create anomalies.
Because we are hardworking people.
Hard work is also reality.
Yes. Yes.
Hard work is reality.
When you have your money, you spend it.
Well, you know, I mentioned that.
So sometimes
You spend it.
the number of
It's your money. Your personal money. You work for it.
the number of Africans in South Africa. I think Zimbabwe is number one.
Yes.
It's not okay. Zimbabwe is number one.
Yeah.
The number of their nationals.
Yes.
Followed by I think Zambia and then Angola. Nigeria is about 6th or 7th. But everybody seems to make the Nigerian
To focus on yes.
That's the way to live.
I'm happy you brought that up. Now South Africans killing Nigerians, Ghanaians driving Nigerians out of the country. We also have, some indirect things like that going on in the US and the UK. Do we think there's a clampdown really on Nigeria and Nigerians?
Is it really about this country? Listen, we must be student of history at all times. Despite the fact that our own was a bit diplomatic in terms of trying to use persuasive means, we have also tried. Have you forgotten where the Ghana must go comes from? The bag that we are using today. So I am not saying those things. I am not saying those things.
Have you forgotten that?
Well, yes, Ghana must go was a persuasive way of asking Ghana you should go to your country where they also have the kind of economic situations that we have in Nigeria.
They started in 1968.
So, please, I think as Africans, as true Africans, I think it's time to preach peace, unity, because we can't recently sign a trade agreement about Africa, and we are having all of this problem. So how are we supposed to move from one country to the other? I have said here that I went to Cannes in France, in Nice, that I have to train from France to Italy to pick a few goods that I wanted to. I come back with the same Schengen
because you have a Schengen
visa that I have. So if this is happening in Europe, there should be an example for all of us to emulate. Now, just a few things. I mean, somebody coming to your country to do a legitimate business. I refuse to tow along with those who talked about drugs and crime. crime exists everywhere, even in this country as we speak. We are not all, we have said in this program, we are not also safe in Nigeria as Nigerians in Nigeria. So that doesn't mean that we should run away or should begin to attack people.
Okay.
I had a discussion with somebody the other day. I said, since South Africans were killing Nigerians, foreign nationals, we should begin to also attack their businesses here. And I said, how do you now compare life and property?
Exactly. All right. Patrick from Lagos is reacting, and he says, good afternoon, Patience and all the guests. Just as your guests have said, South Africa is not Oyingbo, where one can trek. They have immigration officers and other security personnel. Other nationals didn't just disappear into their country. Pardon me. Again, how did the drugs get into South Africa first? Who is in charge of their border posts? Nigerians? Thank you, Patrick, for sending that one in. All right, this other one, Ikenna Atru from Jos says, the people does not enter illegal, but their document has expired and they begin to hide. Thank you, Ikenna. All right, this other one is just coming in, and it says, look, you people must be sincere. The government of South Africa can't do everything. Sometimes people take laws into their hands for the government to know how serious they are. Is in Nigeria alone we allow rubbish? Obasanjo is still alive watching. Nigerians must follow suit to drive people away from their country so that we can have jobs and build Nigeria together.
How many people are holding your job?
Manna won't fall from heaven. We should do the same for our government to shun corruption and do the needful. Okay, this other one just coming in. Benga from Lagos says, masses are like animals in the eyes of our government. Instead of our government to evacuate people, they are talking of compensation because they have no family among the victims. Remember the kidnapping issue? It has been happening to masses years before Pafa Shoroti's daughter, and nothing was done. Thank you, Benga, for your message. All right, this other one says, Nigerian government should cut relationship with South Africa since South African government is indirectly saying it cannot protect foreigners there. Femi Salami from Ikorodora will stop it here so we